So this is how we decided to spend a great and beautiful Sunday afternoon. Haven't flown for about 2.5 months because of all the COVID-19 thing going on, but this is us line up at Sarasota Airport, getting ready to take off on runway 22. Actually, it turned out to be a pretty interesting day of flying, with a mix of weather between clouds and sky and clear sky, and you'll see here in a moment we got a chance to get over top of the clouds and fly above, which is always beautiful to do, especially as a VFR pilot. It's nice to have that opportunity, and safely, of course. But here we are lifting off. You'll see us looking to the right here in a second. This is again Sarasota Airport, SRQ, and that's Peach there, going for her first flight in an airplane. She did really well, really good. Looking down the tower there. So it was about an hour-and-a-half flight, a little more than that, all said and done, and we flew down to Venice, Florida here. We got a chance to do a couple full stop landings just to keep current and keep things going, and actually in the end just really enjoy just flying around on a beautiful day, as you'll see here as we turn out. I guess this time was probably around 5:30 here or so. It was later afternoon, early evening, this flight here, so really beautiful. And I'm sure you probably noticed it looks familiar for many of you there. This is a Cessna 172. I believe it's a 1999. I think this one is here. It's so it has the 180. It's a good performing. This one has a new engine in it, relatively new, so it's got a lot of pull to it. It's a nice flying airplane. That's a Longboat Key, looking down onto Lido Beach down there on the left. And there's those clouds I told you about. Got some just a huge opportunity. This is coming up on Venice Airport right here. It's where I had the opportunity to solo again there in my life, second time in my life, and I got my license out of this airport. Fantastic place to fly, beautiful. So we're on final approach for 2-3 here. As you see, you fly right over the Gulf of Mexico, which is a beautiful place to fly, except for nighttime. It's a little daunting. This will be the first landing I've made in, probably 2.5 months, so knocking off a little bit of the rust here. It wasn't too bad. It looks worse than it was with the camera bouncing around. My wife was holding the camera in her hand, but it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I really never get tired of taking off out of this airport because they use 2-3 here quite a bit. It's their preferred runway on calm wind and all that stuff. But it's beautiful when you fly out over the Gulf of Mexico here, and the water's just lit up, and there's a golf course on the right-hand side. It's a very scenic airport to fly out of. Really nice. This airport was built back World War II as a fighter jock training base, flying a lot of things, like everything down to P-40 Warhawks to Airacobras, and they finished up with P-51s out of here, which has got quite a history. There's Peach hanging out there, doing really good. First flight up. She's 7 months old, so we're trying to break her in. Yeah, I know. We'll get her some headsets for her ears going forward. That's Sharky's, if any of you folks have been down here. Sharky's on the beach and the pier there, so that's a great place to eat and hang out. Really great place. That water is blue. Yeah, no filters here. That's legit. That's how it looks. Just that beautiful. That's the Venice jetties there, and beautiful place to hang out. Really neat. There's a lot of folks like to surf on the north side of that, get some pretty good waves off that. When I say that relative, because we're the Gulf of Mexico, so we don't have a lot of heavy wave action, but they do get some right there in the end of the jetty, north end of the jetty. Looking forward north up here to Sarasota. And we decided to come back around and go for one more full stop landing here into Venice. Had a chance to poke through a couple of very thin clouds. It was fun. This looks thicker than it is. It's off the right-hand side of the airplane. The left side was pretty clear, but kind of a neat effect for a little flight today. My wife and I hanging out, doing our thing, enjoying this immensely. Like I said, good airplane. It's late, actually we're mid-May here, and you're starting to get a little bit of that summer effect now. It's that time of year where we start seeing that. Get a little hazier, a little more humid, certainly warmer today. It was probably, mid-80s or something today, maybe at this point here, but you can feel it get a little more humid. So this is one more time going into 2-3 into Venice. One more time, this is just to add a nice full rounded full stop landings and takeoffs today, just to keep that currency up and all that good stuff. Yeah, heck, it's just fun. Yeah, this airport normally on a Sunday like this would be jam-packed, but with all that's going on with this crazy virus, a lot of folks aren't flying as much as they were, and this place can get really busy for a non-towered airport. It gets quite busy. Here we are heading back out again, getting ready to take off one more last time out of Venice before we head back to Sarasota. As you can probably notice, the windscreen's a little bit on the dirty side, and that's not just neglect or laziness, that's love bugs this time of year. If you've been in Florida for this time of year any time in the past or currently live here, you know love bug season's rough, even for airplanes. It's hard to avoid them. So, they really trash a vehicle, and they will make a mess out of your airplane too. So this one, we got pelted a little bit, coming out here today. So the windscreen was a little bit, little trash. This is really a culmination of a 30-year dream here. I started flying many years ago as a much younger man. Life gets in the way. There's so many of us out there that started it and haven't finished, or started and had the opportunity to go back later in life, which I did, and I was very fortunate. And flying out of this airport, and was able to earn my pilot certificate and my complex endorsements, and I'm looking to add a number of things to that along the way here. So just started looking at the IFR, or the instrument I should say, rating for the fly-off hour in IMC. So, yeah, one step at a time, right? Yeah, just doing a little circling around, killing a little time, waiting to pick up the weather information for Sarasota before we contact Tampa approach, because Tampa or Sarasota is a Class Charlie airspace, and you got to get a hold of our friends at Tampa to make the approach into it. I had to get down below the clouds. We were up well above this, and this buildup was getting pretty big, so we had to get down around 1,100 feet to get below this stuff to come in. Not exactly scud running, but it was. You got to get down below there and make a run into the airport as we head into runway 32 over at SRQ. Had a little bit of a crosswind from the left here. You'll see landing left wheel down first here. Yeah, it's good practice again after about 2.5 months not flying here. It felt great to be up in the air. And even better to be flying with my wife, which I enjoy immensely. And this time here, taking the puppy along for her first flight.